Right, what I'm going to show you now is the control modes and various bits and pieces. So I've got a simple 4 on the floor pattern loaded. I'm going to change that so that you can hear what I'm going to do in a minute. And if I want to save it, I hit that, press the bank button, press the store button, it says done, it's done. Nice and simple. Press store again and it drops you back to whatever mode you were in before. It's worth remembering that. Small minor point, that when you press the load and the save buttons to go into load and you press it again, it takes you back to where you were, not necessarily to this point. So to get into the control mode, we hold down the mode button up here, this one, and we press this button here. So this knob is now controlling the tempo, which it does normally when you're in edit, but it's just there in case you want to. So you can go start, completely insane, all the way down to, yeah, please can I have a life. So hopefully there's a useful range of tempos there for most people. The next function, so to change the mode that the knob changes, you press these buttons here. So that's the pattern length. There you go. So we can have 3, 16, 14, whatever you fancy. So now some of you will have noticed this light flashing. This isn't a beat indicator, this is actually the pattern that's playing. So if I add a snare drum and go back to this mode, you notice that the lights flash according to the intensity of the hit when it's hit, so it makes it obvious what's playing and when. Right, let's take that snare drum off because it's irritating me. There we go. Right, I've shown you the pattern length. Next one is the number of repeats. I've shown you this within the chaining function. So you can set the number of repeats from 1 all the way up to 16. I'm going to stop this for a minute. 16 seemed like a reasonable limit. I don't think most people are going to go above 3 or 7, or I don't know, if you're into some weird kind of timing you might want to do 9 or 5. Hey, whatever you want. The next button is the sub level, or soft level as I like to call it, where we have our beats and they have a hard hit and a soft hit, which we got there. This allows me to adjust the level of the soft hit. So that's really quite quiet. And there you can't hear much of a difference between the two. I tend to find sort of 30ish works well. The reason I've included that is I know some drum machines, soft and hard levels are a little bit different to others, so this just gives you a bit more flexibility. Next one is the step length. This is different from the pattern length. Where is it? There it is. The step length allows you to set these to whether they are 16 to the bar, 32 to the bar, or 8 to the bar, or 4, or 1 to the bar. I don't know why I did that, but there you go. There you go. So that's 4. So that's actually, I think 2 of these is a bar. It gets a little bit boring. That's 30 seconds. Same as you had on the TR909. If you leave it at 6, that gives you 16ths for each of the steps. Same as you would have had normally. Let's slow that tempo down a bit because that's going a bit on the slightly mad side. So that's the step length. Next one is the MIDI channel, fairly obvious, from 1 all the way up to 16. And the next one is the sync. Again, you've got the same choice of external or, where is it? There it is, internal. There you go. Right. So, setting the notes that each sound plays. So, what I'm going to do here is quickly program another part. So let's put part 3 in. Okay. There we go. So we've got part 3 playing. So we now go to the note section by holding the mode button again and pressing this button. We're now in note mode, so as with the other mode you can see the lights flashing to show you which one's which. This button illuminated means that this knob is now editing the sound that's playing here, so I can change this. There you go. So I want Christmas bells because I'm feeling rather Christmassy. I can then go onto here and get rid of that horrible clicky thing, and there you go. Right back to the 80s with a Simmons hit. Important thing to note when you save this, save a pattern, any pattern after you've edited these note settings for each of the sounds that you can set along here and weight of them are saved in the chip here. There's only one setting per whole Tron, so most people I suspect are going to use this with one drum machine or another, so they're going to set it up with the favourite 8 sounds on here and leave it. So I don't expect the note mode will get used often, nor do I expect this sort of control mode where you can change the pattern length and repeats and stuff to get used much. I suspect the repeats is probably the thing that will get changed much. Things to note: the pattern length, the repeats and step length are stored along with each pattern. Important thing to remember. So it means you can have one pattern running 16ths and another pattern running 30 seconds if you really want. It's your choice. So there we go. And that's about it. If I think of anything more, I'll let you know. Otherwise, have fun. And I'll leave you with a little tune which I've loaded here. There we go. We chain those two together. So thanks very much for watching. Cheers. And finally, just to show it working, we've got a Tron on this side, and we've got Gorf that you all know and love on this side. I've got a pair of patterns chained, which I've shown you before, and we've got a 7-note pattern on this one. You'll recognise it when I play it. What I've got here is the MIDI out of Tron going into my Akai SG01V. It's a bit old and it's a bit antiquated, but it makes okay-ish drum sounds. I've then got the through of that coming into the MIDI in on Gorf, so I've got my clock sync in here. Gorf is set to external sync, and the MIDI out over here somewhere there is going off to my Chameleon playing a TB303 sound. Nothing really clever, but quite effective. See if you get points for this. You see if you can recognise it. I'll be surprised if you don't. So you hit start on here, and everything syncs together and plays nicely. There you go. Bet that takes you back a few years. It certainly does me. There you go. You can jam away till your heart's content and take yourself back to the 80s. I'll leave you with that. Thanks very much. I'm not sure when kits will be available. I've got a few boards of these now, but I do intend to do a longer run in the near future. Thanks for watching.